No, I mean overall, I guess it's been funny. Everyone's talking about a bad year, but overall, I guess all the results were, I guess, on a whole better. But that was obviously all crammed into the start of the year. So finishing on sour notes, obviously, is what everyone's sort of left with, and it's also what I'm left with. And we're hoping to sort of redeem a little bit, come up Noosa, and finish on a high note. But yeah, I guess the disappointment of a non-selection in London, I guess that's the sort of stuff that I'm remembering, and I guess February, March seems like a long time ago. I mean, we got in early. We had some great races early season, and the appendix happened, and that was a bit of a setback. We started getting back, and a few things sounded positive. A lot of the talk was about getting ready for London, and that was coming from, I guess, all avenues, and the idea of when we race at London. And it wasn't until after sort of Hamburg that it was just, I guess, the first sort of realisation that no, you won't be racing. And I guess, there was a little bit of that hollow feeling. Then the team's announced, and there's a little bit of sort of anger about the exact, details of the team. So, but, I guess, you have to move on. You have to learn from the bad experiences and try and improve from there. I guess for me, it's a little bit of planning. It's a little bit of preparation as to, we planned a year around getting starts at the WTS races and being a leading contender for those. The ranking was there. We ended up top 30 ITU points and third or fourth Australian within that, leading at 1 point. So that was ticked the boxes for that, but I guess what we learnt is to sort of, monitor your bad races, because it is dealt fairly harshly, and it's always been a bit of a thing for triathlon within Australia, is as soon as you get that one bad race, you can be forgotten pretty quickly. So I guess sometimes a no result's better than a bad result, which is not something I'm brought up on. It's not something I agree on, but they're the sort of things that you dealt with, so you have to, I guess, deal with around that, I guess my immediate coaching staff in Danielle Stefano and my swim and run coaches were all pretty disappointed. There's a bit of anger and there's a bit of questioning about it. I mean, the joy of discretion selections, and that's where I lost out on discretion. It's always going to have questions. Obviously, I disagree with the selection, but there's obviously arguments which I fully understand for why I wouldn't. But I think there was just too many grey areas that just didn't make it simple. And it was disappointing, but I guess, from the externals, you obviously got told as to what the Triathlon Australia high performance line was as to why I wasn't selected.
So where's the future? What's for you now? Like back to the ITU campaign, or are you through with it? Where are you heading?
No, 100%. I'm here for ITU. My goal, as it's always been, is to race WTS races, race them well, race Olympics, Com Games. My time now will be a bit of time off post Noosa, scheduling everything around a Commonwealth Games selection. As soon as we know what the policy is, that'll be purely what we run at. So once they announce which races, I'll get stuck into those. Depending on how that goes, will be where my focuses exactly lie, whether it's the grand final of the Com Games and the WTS series itself. So it'll take a little bit of planning come November, December, but I guess until I'm told exactly what I need to do, I can't really pick anything until then. Well, I guess, yeah, absolutely. Like, the prize money from last year is, as I said last year, it's a huge boost for me. I've still got plenty in the bank account, which is as a result of this sort of race. You obviously got to be very stringent on what you spend. Being an ITU athlete, we're not exactly driving Porsches around, so that's just how it is. But something like this, it gives you that leverage towards sponsors. It gives you that money in the account. and the confidence that went from it. It was a real boost, and I guess we saw that at the start of the year as to what sort of rewards that can reap. But that doesn't always last forever. It's a very fine edge to keep the form, and unfortunately it slipped away from me a little bit through unforeseen circumstances, but we're hoping to get sort of back on top of it now.
And for you personally, what's going to be the A scenario, obviously a defence of your title, how you're seeing the day unfold?
I think it's going to be very quick. I think there's a big chance to see a top 5 fastest time. I mean, we were 7th fastest time last year, and I just think that the amount of swimmers we've got here and the amount of bikers that we've got here, and also the potential for more fast runners, we'll just see across the board from gun to tape fast race. So for me, it's all about making sure I'm there. I've got a belief in my speed over the last kilometre in the run, so I definitely need to just make sure I'm there, and there'll be guys making sure that I'm not, but it's up to them to sort of bring their A game. It's up to me to bring my A game.
So this course, where does it win?
I guess it's also a little bit of where it's lost. I mean, it's lost in the swim if you're not there. It's definitely a day over. The last few years has been, I think I can remember a Noosa that hasn't been one out of the swim. It's lost a bit on the bike if you don't get into that right pace line. If you're nowhere near it in the 10K run, then you won't finish. So for me, I think it's just where do you lose it. You win it obviously within the last K, but it's all those moments that lead up to it that you may lose it.
Well, Pete, obviously looking forward to seeing you go around again. We are, you being a Geelong boy, us being based in the mighty city town, we're looking forward to seeing you try and defend again. Good luck tomorrow, on the weekend I should say, and hopefully we'll be talking to you as the dual Noosa champion.
It'd be a nice feeling, I reckon. Thank you.